Hello and welcome back to the Movie Memo Recaps. Today we are going to recap a 2023 movie titled Dead Shot. Please be advised that there will be spoilers ahead. The film begins with Michael O'Hara driving home in the tranquil Irish countryside as dawn approaches. He rushes back to his home since his wife, Carol, is due to give birth. Carol is relieved and thrilled to see him, but her excitement immediately turns to confusion when she notices Michael carrying a weapon. She questions Michael about it, but he tells her that it is solely for their protection. He also admits that he had parted ways with Keenan, who appears to have had a detrimental influence on him. Carol likewise harbored doubts about Keenan, as evidenced by their conversation. Together, they travel through the countryside to the hospital, unaware that covert snipers are observing their every move and reporting to someone else. During their travel, Michael spots a broken branch on a tree, signaling that an armored vehicle had just passed through. Despite his reluctance, he follows Carol's advice and proceeds to explore, briefly leaving her behind. While he is exploring, a British Army armored vehicle approaches, and soldiers swiftly encroach on the car. To his horror, Michael observes one of the troops fatally shooting Carol. In a panic, Michael flees into the woods to avoid capture, his grief turning into a determination to fight the British once more. Michael, a former member of the Irish Republican Army, departed the paramilitary organization to focus on his role as a devoted husband. Afterwards, the scene turns to Henry Tempest, who had shot Carol while on a mission. His supervisors had scheduled a disciplinary hearing for him after he effectively killed an unarmed pregnant woman. Tempest admits that he had no intention of killing the woman, nor did he harbor any resentment toward the family because they were Republicans. Tempest claims that when he approached the abandoned car with his gun ready, he suspected Michael was lurking inside. However, when Carol abruptly leapt up, probably due to labor discomfort, Tempest saw it as a threat to himself and the other soldiers and fired his gun 3 times in retaliation. As a result, Tempest is aware that an investigation into his murder of an Irish woman could lead to his arrest. Tempest seemed apprehensive about his fate. Following the hearing, a senior official, probably from British intelligence, named Holland approaches Tempest personally. He offers Tempest an escape from prosecution by recruiting him for a secret mission. Holland is putting up a team of sharpshooters to covertly thwart IRA activity in London and eliminate IRA members. Despite the odds, Tempest accepts the offer, ignorant of the scope of the task. Tempest experiences contradictory emotions as he returns to London and reunites with his partner Ruth. On the one hand, he is pleased to have avoided legal trouble, but he is also concerned about the nature of his new duty. Ruth senses his unease, which she relates to the stress of recent events. Meanwhile, Holland informs Tempest and the other recruits about their assignment. They will act as ordinary individuals in London, surveilling and targeting suspected IRA members. The savagery of their assignment takes Tempest aback, but he is determined to complete it for his own and his loved one's safety. As Tempest starts fulfilling his duties for Holland, he gains a deeper understanding of his responsibilities. They assign him and his new crew to clear out an apartment where they believe IRA militants are hiding. However, Tempest is unaware that a woman has been surreptitiously monitoring him since his return from Ireland. This woman, who works for IRA boss Keenan, informs the IRA members in the London apartment about Tempest and his colleague. Upon the arrival of Tempest and his team, the situation takes a surprising turn. A shootout breaks out, but Tempest and his colleague manage to neutralize the situation. After fleeing capture, Michael gathers his thoughts and determines to find the soldier guilty for his wife's death. Desperate for retribution, Michael reconnects with Keenan, the IRA leader who Michael had cut ties with. Michael encounters Keenan again, who poses as a school principal. Keenan is clearly furious that Michael had left the IRA and warns him that if he wants Keenan's support, he must prove himself valuable. Despite his reluctance to engage in further violence, Michael chooses to assist Keenan in his quest for revenge. Michael embarks on a journey to London, accompanied by his friend Toomey, a skilled sniper. They continue to investigate with certain IRA members, but they are unable to reach Keenan directly because he is wanted by the British. Instead, they communicate with Keenan through Katherine, who was observing Tempest earlier. She surreptitiously contacts Keenan in a booth, relaying communications between him and Michael. She shares information about an IRA assignment that entails bringing a box of bombs to Paddington Station. Despite Katherine's admissions, Michael stays committed to his personal vendetta. He learns about Tempest's name and whereabouts via Katherine. He also learns about Ruth and decides to follow her one morning. As he follows Ruth to a small market where she sells garments, a wave of spiteful feelings overtakes him. He almost attacks Ruth but stops himself just in time. Michael fled the scene, struggling with the weight of his goals. Despite his strong need for retribution, he understands that injuring an innocent woman like Ruth will simply continue the cycle of violence. He considers the unfortunate death of his own wife, Carol, as a result of his involvement with the IRA, despite the fact that she had no political or paramilitary affiliations. With Katherine's help, he evades the police and narrowly avoids a potentially disastrous situation. Katherine encourages Michael to carry out the IRA plan, and he grudgingly agrees. However, he remains persistent in his determination not to kill innocent people. Michael instructs a radical who is preparing a bomb in a suitcase to exclude any shrapnel, stressing that the bomb's purpose should be to create distraction and fear, not harm. After initiating the plot and placing the suitcase outside Paddington Station, Michael instructs his men to detonate the bomb within 30 minutes to ensure the area is safe for bystanders. Therefore, after activating the device, Michael decides to inform the police, with the aim of minimizing casualties. He reveals that, as a member of the IRA, he planted a bomb at Paddington Station that will detonate in 30 minutes. Michael feels that bombing the infrastructure will be sufficient to deliver the IRA's message without endangering innocent lives. However, he is unaware that the device utilizes a remote detonation mechanism instead of a timer. The device detonates prematurely within seconds, injuring and killing people. This tragic event reveals that Keenan concealed the true nature of the plot from Michael, with the intention of him unintentionally engaging in a terrorist act in London. Keenan's deception demonstrates how willing he is to manipulate others to achieve his own goals. Michael is stunned and eventually realizes that he has been faked. Both Michael and Katherine are shocked by the bombing plot's outcome when they seek sanctuary at Katherine's apartment. Suddenly, Keenan appears and reveals his actual intentions to Michael. He admits to telling the British Army about Michael's whereabouts back in Ireland. Michael feels completely betrayed and taken aback by Keenan's confession of betraying him to the British Army in Ireland. The news casts a pall over their once solid relationship, leaving Michael feeling angry, hurt, and betrayed. This act represents Keenan's revenge for Michael's resignation from his paramilitary organization. Keenan, who refuses to reveal any information regarding Tempest, assigns Michael another IRA target. This time, the target is Holland, who is leading a secret force that is hunting the Republican Army. Keenan reveals Holland's identity to Michael, claiming that catching Holland will result in Tempest's capture. Michael and Katherine disagree with the proposal, but Keenan responds violently, punching both of them. Following Keenan's departure, Michael consoles Katherine, presuming she is Keenan's lover. However, Katherine surprises him by admitting that Keenan is her father, not her partner. Despite his Irish nationalist beliefs, Keenan fell in love with an English woman in London, who bore Katherine. As Katherine became older, Keenan recruited her for IRA operations. Katherine understands the dangers of living near her violent father and decides to depart the country, sailing to Boston. She encourages Michael to join her, but he has other plans. After seeing Keenan's deceitful character, Michael decides to confront him. Recognizing that Keenan has exploited his sadness and passion for vengeance, Michael goes to the streets to exact his own version of justice by killing the IRA leader. On the other hand, Tempest's anxiety for Ruth's safety grows following Michael's attempted attack on her. Tempest and Holland question an IRA member to learn more about its operations. In response, Holland instructs Tempest to return to Ireland with the troops to confront the Republicans. Tempest wants to deal with Michael first on his personal vendetta, but Holland dismisses the idea. Tempest, undeterred by Holland's refusal, ignores rules and sets out on his own mission to find and face Michael in order to exact his retribution. Tempest locates Katherine's residence and takes her captive, forcing her to lead him to Michael. With no other option, Katherine agrees and leads Tempest to the beach, where she and Michael intend to join the ship. Tempest hides, ready to attack, as they await Michael's arrival. Katherine, on the other hand, takes advantage of the opportunity to escape, informing Michael of the impending danger. A frenzied chase starts, with Michael running towards the sea as Tempest pursues, shooting his gun intermittently. Despite Michael's best efforts to avoid capture, Tempest catches up with him. Michael disarms him and holds him at gunpoint. Tempest, overcome with sorrow, apologizes bitterly for his role in Carol's death during the climactic fight. Despite his sadness, Michael accepts responsibility for his own acts, admitting that his engagement in IRA operations partly caused his wife's untimely death. As the reality of their mutual guilt seeps in, both men realize that the mindless violence and bloodshed of their long-running battle has resulted in nothing but agony and misery. In a moment of intense clarity, Michael collapses onto the sand, succumbing to his wounds, as Tempest watches, struggling with the weight of their shared sadness and regret. Meanwhile, Katherine successfully boarded the ship, escaping the country and leaving the chaos of war behind. Months later, Tempest returns to his partner, Ruth, who has forgiven him despite their previous arguments about his role in the British Army. Ruth's pregnancy provides a sense of hope and rejuvenation. However, as Tempest enters the busy roadway, disaster happens. A sniper, who turns out to be Michael's devoted buddy Toomey, abruptly shoots him down. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice